Greetings, all you Jackson Jennets, and welcome to your daily dose of donkey with Ginger. This week is a super special edition as it is our 1 year anniversary, and we have Gingy back in action to talk about the first real football game of the year. Gingy, what you see?
Woo!
Oh, we
Hello.
also have Laskers in the background. You might hear something from him.
Heck yeah. Well, the more the merrier, donkey. Because guess what? Football is back, baby. Wave 'em if you got 'em. Steelers going into a hostile Buffalo Bills environment. Donkey, I was really excited for that game. Last year we talked about measuring sticks. You mentioned that 1 year anniversary. Heck yeah, donkey. Let's go. You talk about measuring sticks.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
do. And this was a good one.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's exciting, Donkey. Keeping it rolling, talking about the Steelers, having fun. They looked like they were having fun last week on defense. All right.
Yes.
Major pressure
Yeah.
all over the place. Healthy sign pickup from Melvin Ingram. Really working that opposite side of TJ. What was it, Donkey? 22, 23 pass pressures throughout today?
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I think he definitely looked better than Highsmith. Highsmith looked like he had a little trouble. Honestly, Buffalo's line looked like it had a lot of trouble in pass protection. But to be fair, how many of those pressures are because Josh Allen holds the football for 5 seconds? I mean, my lord, does he not throw the football if nothing's there?
Granted,
And yeah, while
he's
we want
got
to talk
weapons.
about
He's got weapons that can get open
definitely,
after the play. Granted, that's kind of that
um,
Buffalo Bills offense. I always
all
thought
I
he
have
kind of
to
looked like
say is
young Ben.
if you listen to last week's episode, everyone who did, I said the key to victory is what Josh Allen are we getting? 2020 Josh Allen or the previous year's Josh Allen? Buffalo, if Josh Allen doesn't start going into 2020 for him, you should be concerned because if that 2019, 2018, 2017 Allen's the one you're getting, which is the one the Steelers got to play, it's going to be a long year for Buffalo because that's not going to get it done. He missed, what, 3, 4, 5 open receivers for game-changing plays. He just did not look like the quarterback he was last year. I guess it was a good time to get him. Good look for the Steelers front seven, no doubt about that, as the front seven definitely played well, but
In the secondary,
the
donkey.
second half played.
In the secondary, you know what? I disagree, donkey. There were some guys that I were questioning. Some guys that really had to step up this year. Cam Sutton being one.
He looked good. He was about the only one who looked good.
And okay, there were some incidents with Pierre, all right, but Pierre did come through with a couple in the clutch as well when he
Yeah,
needed to.
I think like Stephon Diggs going 7 for 7 when covered by him is kind of a problem. The lowest rated PFF player on our defense is kind of a problem. The only slot guy who looked decent out there was Arthur Malott, and he didn't look good. He looked decent.
Granted, donkey.
Secondary looks like it's going to be an issue. The front seven better not stop getting pressures.
Stephon Diggs is a problem wherever he goes. Let's not get it twisted.
We couldn't cover Cole Beasley, and let's not act like Cole Beasley's fast.
And that will lead into a point of emphasis when we're talking about next week, donkey. But flipping over to that Steelers offense, shaky.
Exactly the same as last year. Both the offense and defense feel like they're the same as last year.
Inconsistent. But there were some big plays that came through. Chase Claypool had 2 big catches that I can note, and one big end around sweep, wasn't it?
Yes, he literally had about half of our rushing yards on one play.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Speaking of rushing yards, Najee touching the ball, what was it, 17 times for 46 yards?
Terrible.
Granted, that offensive line wasn't opening holes for him.
Granted, the same thing I've been saying the whole preseason.
Okay.
0 broken tackles.
Okay.
0 yards after
there was a big one in the second half.
There was a big
one
run,
in the
but he
second
wasn't
half
touched.
that put Steelers in a goal.
Like I said before,
first and goal situation.
And I'll tell you again, Gingy. Najee Harris is really good if his offensive line's really good. Our offensive line isn't really good. It's going to be a long year. Buckle up. I hope you're ready for huck it, chuck it, Ben Roethlisberger football.
Well, hopefully we've got Banner back this week. We're going to be running the right side, donkey. Running the right
Banner's
side.
definitely not back this week. He
no.
got put on IR, so he has to miss at
that's-
least 3 games.
Yes. At least 3? I didn't even know you. It's
Yeah.
like 7.
Right.
And speaking of IR, tell us, donkey, who were you looking at on the injury report this week?
Carlos Davis is going to be out for the Steelers. Hayden and Bush and Gentry all questionable, so really no one overly important because you assume the questionable guys are going to play.
Yeah.
And Davis is what? Your 5th lineman because he's better than Loudermilk, but really, so what?
Right.
Well, when you're talking about the Raiders, big losses for them. Mariota, who they actually showed they were going to play some. Mariota's out. He got put on IR. Josh Jacobs is going to miss the game. Gerald McCoy got put on IR. They lost another cornerback, got put on IR.
The big one.
I believe Carl Nassib and Yannick Ngakoue are questionable, which is they can't play as big losses for them. Darius Fallon also questionable. So, it seems like every one of their defensive linemen is showing up on the injury report.
That's very unfortunate for them.
Oh, I think Richie Incognito's out too, so losing one of their better offensive linemen.
Wow. Yeah, that's a hurting. Josh Jacobs, that's a big driving force behind that unit, and that's going to be sorely missed on that Raiders offense. Before we start projecting the next week, Donkey, only wanted to review maybe one more thing about last week's game. Win over offense, win over defense, special teams. The good,
I still want
the
Danny
bad,
Smith
and
fired.
the ugly. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Donkey, that's what
I
we
still
that's
want
what we
Danny
call
Smith fired, but we won because of a block punt and touchdown, so I don't know how I really feel about that.
Killebrew.
I still want Danny Smith fired.
Killebrew.
Yeah, he's a good special teamer. He definitely is a good special
teamer. A guy
teamer.
brought in the off season, is that what's gonna go happen here? Takes a big win in Buffalo on week 1 with a play behind him, opening the game with a giving up 76-yard kick return, I believe. That's more the ugly. That aforementioned ugly
pretty.
that we were talking about, Donkey. So, Danny Smith and up to the old hijinks again on special teams. But
I have a question for you before we go on, since you seem to skip over this on the defensive side of things. While you like to talk about how the front 7 got pressure, the front 7 again proved very inept at stopping the run. Thank God Buffalo's a team that wants to throw the ball 80% of the time, because was it 11 yards per carry their running back had in the game?
Singletary
I
had
believe
some gashes.
Singletary was at 11 yards per carry,
Yeah.
because the Steelers front 7 again is showing it. It is very great at pass rushing, which is what causes the turnovers, which is what caused our great play. But it seems to be, once again, slacking in that ability to stop the run. It's just these guys aren't here. And I want to point out one more thing to you, because I think it's an important thing to show. Devin Bush was slow this week. That ACL still hindering him. I don't know if you watched, but about the only person Devin Bush actually tackled in a proper area was Minkah Fitzpatrick on a run by Devin Singletary. 6.5. So we got our correction. It's 6.5 yards per carry he was averaging, but I felt like every time he touched the ball, it was a 20-yard run.
6.5 still isn't really what we're looking for. Not really what we're looking for, but good points. Good points to point out. Defense did enough last week to stop, but certainly has vulnerabilities that have shown.
Yeah, and I guess the other one we should point out is Knox, who's not even a top end tight end, was always open again. I felt like I just rinsed and repeated the 2020 season. The front 7 is dominant, and when they get to the quarterback, we're going to win football games, but tight ends are going to run wide open. Speedy receivers are going to run wide open. Running backs are going to gash us. The offense is going to throw the ball 50 times a game because the running game is... What'd you call 3.1 yards per carry? Would you call it terrible? Is it fair if I call the running game terrible?
It's not looking good yet, Donkey. I don't know about terrible. It's not looking good yet.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger looked like a better running back than Najee for 90% of the game.
Whoa.
That tells us enough, I guess.
Whoa, Donkey. That's hurt. That's spiteful.
Well, didn't Ben have an 8-yard run on his one carry? I mean, old man River over there is running better than our running backs. That's not a good sign. And it's not that I hate on Najee. I think the kid has great potential, but you need an offensive line in front of him that can block. And if we're going to be honest, at least as of right now and after game one, that's not ours.
Honestly, he did not play one of his better games. I saw a lot better uh, pass route
Also,
running,
Najee,
pass
I
route
was going to
running in the
say,
preseason than I
he
did in the
he
first
was
game of the regular
not
season.
very good as a receiver, and
No,
that's one of the things he
no,
was
it's.
super hyped up to us was
Well,
the great
I
receiving
saw it in the
skills, but that was
preseason. I saw some crisp, clean routes. We talked about it, Donkey, but they weren't
we
there on
did.
game one. They weren't.
Yeah, I was gonna say Showtime homeboy did not show up
No.
last week. I hope it gets better.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to assume it will be. So I mean, yeah. How about it was Deontay catching that touchdown, but does that make up for the fact that he dropped 2 balls off his hands? Should I be concerned that this receiving core is dropping footballs already?
Yes. You should. I am.
However, remember when I said the Steelers are built to just hope other teams get hurt and then take advantage? I think the Ravens put 3 more guys on IR this week. You can't make up how many injuries that team has. So we should be better than them at this rate because they'll literally not have any players when they play us again. It'll be like the COVID season all over.
And I'll talk about my projection on that based on that Ravens game last week and the Steelers' vulnerabilities, which we've known is up the seam and through that middle. Waller is going to be a huge threat because that's all we saw last week. Carter Waller, 3rd and 8, first down. We cannot let that occur, Donkey.
No.
If you take away that and make the Raiders try to beat you without Josh Jacobs and, try to make them beat you on the outside, I don't think that's going to happen. But you got to contain Waller over the middle. He can't have a day for 11 for 150 and 2 touchies. He can't have that day.
He very well could have that day, but yes, that is. I agree with you. That is key number 1 for the Steelers is absolutely stopping him. Key number 2 to me is, I'll say the offensive key. It's backfield production, and to me, it has to be Najee Harris cannot get 100% of the running back snaps. We do that, he's not going to be useful in the later half of the season. If this team's trying to win a championship, you cannot run the wheels off of Najee Harris in the first 5 weeks of the season. I know they're going to talk, we're not worried about workload. Well, you damn well should be, because I hate to break it to you, even if Najee becomes Le'Veon Bell, do you remember what happened to Le'Veon Bell every year in the playoffs because we ran the wheels off him?
It's true. He didn't look as strong.
And now let's add in that there's another week to the regular season. He cannot be getting 100% of the snaps at running back. That is not acceptable. The Steelers need a game plan better. That's on Tomlin. That's on Canada, because that at the end of the day has nothing to do with the players. That's purely game plan, and there is no world that Najee Harris should get 100% of the running back snaps.
Who do you propose he's splitting time with back there, or who's our 3rd down back?
It's not a 3rd down back. You use Kalen Ballage or Benny Snell, since they're the only 2 healthy ones, on early downs and give Najee a break and use him as the 3rd down back every other series is personally what I'd like, because honestly, I think when I watched the preseason, the best running back at running the football on this team was Kalen Ballage.
It's not a bad idea.
So, I mean, while Najee brings a different skill, he doesn't, and Najee should get more of the snaps, let Kalen Ballage, who's a bigger back, wear down the defense a little bit so Najee's explosiveness can be used more to get to the outside. A team like Oakland's a team you could take advantage of that with. Their linebackers and their safeties aren't very good, so when you're talking a team that you can wear down, it's probably the Oakland Raiders, especially after all the injuries they've had on the defensive line.
Yeah, it's all going to start on that run game, Donkey, because that will open up the pass game, and I'd really like to see a little bit more of that with Juju and Deontay and Claypool on the outside. Ben's a game manager. You know what I mean? He was 18 for 32 last week.
He looked like Chad
yards.
Pennington out there.
And
he did not look like vintage Ben Roethlisberger.
He did not.
Okay,
Chad Pennington. Okay, that's rough, Donkey, because he did not throw 4 picks. All right, he threw one touchy
Pennington had
and
some
did
good
not
years
turn
with
the
the
ball
Jets.
over.
Come on now.
did not turn the ball over, and I mean that's
Well,
key.
he did throw a pretty bad interception that was called back for a proper penalty. Don't get it wrong, but that was a pretty bad. And say what you want, you'd be like, he only threw it because of the penalty. No, he didn't.
No,
That
he
was
didn't.
a Ben Roethlisberger
Yeah,
throw
I
at
saw
heart.
it.
It just happened that thank
No.
God they committed a penalty because that was just Ben being Ben there.
Yeah, I don't think that he was. I don't think he saw the flag coming. I agree with you there, don't. But yeah,
I mean, I'm not. See, you're making me feel like I'm sounding very negative, and I don't want people to take it that way. The Steelers just went out and beat the Buffalo Bills. I don't know if I should be more happy for the Steelers because they did beat a good team. They went out and put out a performance. Hell, special teams made a key play. Maybe that's what's going to be the difference this year. Special teams good, but they also made a big bust. The defense looked great. But I'm a little nervous that we're one injury away from not being great again because that's what happened last year.
It looks like that.
The offense looked like the offense from last year. Honestly, I take it as I feel the Steelers are a very similar team to where they are last year. They downgraded in some spots, but it looks like they've upgraded in some spots, like tight end, for example. However, if I was a Buffalo Bills fan, week 2, I'd be watching Josh Allen, and if he's inaccurate again throwing the ball down the field, I would be just so nervous. And if I'm an Oakland Raiders fan, I hope Derek Carr, by putting some bulletin material out there, gets his butt absolutely run into the ground by TJ Watt and Ingram, because I think Ingram should get the majority of the snaps until proven otherwise by Highsmith. Because if you watch the game, Ingram's a pro starter, Highsmith is a pro backup. That's what I saw.
I agree with you on that, Donkey. I'm really looking forward to Sunday.
So what you got? What's your prediction here?
My prediction is another low-scoring contest. I'm saying 24-16. Pittsburgh Steelers put another dub on the board.
Pittsburgh Steelers 34-24.
10 points.
We're going to score 2 defensive touchies. Derek Carr's going to throw 2 pick sixes, and he's going to learn not to talk shit on the Immaculate Reception. Because that ain't cool, bro. That ain't cool, bro.
Bad karma, Donkey. It'll come up and bite you.
Yeah,
can't be messing with history.
Remember when people be stomping the terrible towel, dude?
I do.
People don't learn their lessons about
That's
shit talking
bad
Steeler
juju.
history. So I'm just saying, it's coming, buddy. It's coming. You better watch out, because my little son Jordy's on the freight train going choo-choo. He's about to run your ass over.
Let's go. That's what I like to hear, Donkey.
All right, Gingy, we got to that time, I think. Unless there's crazy football news. Is there anything crazy happened in the NFL last year? I need some stuff going on. All right, well, last year's going to go look, see if I have anything crazy going up on the NFL. Till then, we're going to start with the shout-outs. Gingy, hit me up.
Last week, I'm shouting out. Man, I brought up in the podcast, Killebrew, Ulysses Grant, walking it in for the TD, really separating at a key point in that game, giving the 10-point spread when all was getting a little bit nervous out there. Shout out to those boys on special teams. He gives Danny Smith a lot of flack, Donkey. And not saying it's undeserved. I'm not saying it is undeserved. However, that one, that's a good clutch come through, and that's a shout out, Donkey.
I hear you. So as everyone knows, I said some weird shit going on last week. I did. So I gotta give a shout out because I had to go home, bury a father. So I had to give a shout out to the dude who I guess you could say made me a Steelers fan. I went to season tickets he had for us, so we went to games forever. I brought a lot of friends to their first game through his season tickets. So I had to give a shout out to my dad. He's the one who made me learn how to wave the terrible towel. I got a drink in the sorrows of my first beer losing to the Patriots at an AFC. Was it a championship game that we lost to them on, or conference divisional round game? Either way, I remember.
Divisional round, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So I had to give a shout out there because you know what? That's something you gotta do, and it's something that made me into what I am in terms of fandom now. So gotta give a shout out there.
I hear that, Donkey. I was one of the recipients of those tickets. Shout out to your family. Sorry for your loss.
No, it's all good. You know what that means. It's time for me to tell you where to reach us. You got your Daily Dose of Donkey with Ginger. That's the YouTube channel where you can leave us a like, a comment, a follow, hate email. I don't really know. Do what you got to do. But reach us there. You can reach me at Viking Donkey on Xbox, Viking_Donkey on Twitch and Twitter. And Gingy's going to tell you where to hit him up.
Gingy on Xbox Live, Mutant Gingy. We out here, we gaming. It's a Saturday. You know what, Steelers fans? Wave them if you got them. Here we go.